last and fifth MOOC camp session of the MOOC course of the virtual MOOC camp on English for career development. As you can see my name here, I am Mir Sadia Siddiqa. I have a BA Honours and MA in ELT degree from Dhaka International University. I'm a certified PI graduate from SLZ School of Emotional Intelligence. I'm also an alumna of Open Program, US State Department, USA. Currently, I'm working as an adjunct faculty in the Center for Modern Languages, Bangladesh University of Professionals, BUP. I'm also working as an adjunct faculty in the Department of English in Independent University of Bangladesh. In Rise and Next Learning and Development Center, I work as a trainer. I'm also working as a resource person in the Society for Leadership Skills Development, SLSD. I'm also working as a lecturer in the Department of English, World University of Bangladesh. And beside these, I also teach medical students, the government medical students, the first year MBBS students. I teach them ELT. I work as a ELT resource person there. And I also work as an instructor in AFMI, Armed Force Medical Institute. I work there as an instructor of English language skills. Here, I'm one of the mentors of the fifth MOOC camp session, and I would like to formally welcome you all to the session. Today, we will discuss the fifth module of the course that is, most of you have already completed it. Some of you are completing it. You are doing great. I thank you all and I congratulate all for doing this MOOC camp so successfully and doing this MOOC program and finishing it successfully. So without passing more time in it, let us go into the course directly. Let me share the screen with you at first. Okay. I'm taking you directly to the module. To the module 5. I will be talking about the first 3 lessons of this module, and my fellow mentor, Isma Tara Chaudhary Appa, will deal with the lesson 4 and 5 of this module. And many of you have already written and discussed about the problems of downloading your certificates and badge. For those, after Isma Appa delivers her part, finish talking about lesson 4 and 5, I will be demonstrating the process of downloading the badge and the certificate. I hope this is going to help you. Okay, so module 5 is here. Let us look into the overview and the to-do list. Module 5, interviewing for a job. Like all the other modules, if you want to study offline, you have a downloaded. You have an option for download the module 5 packet. Here, I have already downloaded it. If we need, I will be sharing it with you. This is the overview, and these are the learning objectives. By the end of this unit, you will distinguish different type of questions used in job interviews. You will identify new fundamental vocabulary and practice using the new vocabulary in course activities. You will read, watch, and listen to a variety of texts and multimedia sources. Shows us you understand these texts and key concepts through comprehension check quizzes. By the end of this unit, you will be prepared and answer an interview question briefly and clearly. Here is the to-do list. There will be a review of the module 5. Then there will be a discussion thing, and then you have the check-in. You have to complete the following quizzes. There will be an interview, jeopardy, reading practice, listening or reading practice, matching answer to questions in the US, and module 1 check in 5 minutes. You will have to score at least 70% on all graded quizzes to receive your digital badge and certificates. These are quite similar with the last modules that you have already finished. Let us go to the next section. This is module 5, key vocabulary. Okay, may I request anyone from the audience to read the vocabularies and the definition and the sample sentences? Anyone who is interested in reading it? Anyone from the students? Okay, Ishrat Jahan. Ishrat Jahan, read the first two words and the definition. Ishrat, please unmute yourself. Ishrat Jahan, can you hear me? Okay, I think Ishrat can't hear me. Samiul Islam, are you there? Samiul Islam? Samiul, can you please unmute yourself and read the vocabularies?
Appa, maybe you have to unmute him.
I can't. I'm asking.
They're asking
okay.
to unmute.
Yeah,
him.
Samuel, can you hear me? I can't hear you. You have unmuted yourself, but I can't hear you. Okay, no issues at all. Let me do it, as I don't know why, but I can't hear Samuel or Ishrat or anyone else. I can hear the mentors, but I cannot hear the participants. Naushin, can you hear me? Naushin Nawar? Okay, I guess there might be a problem here. Naushin, are you talking? Okay, what is happening here? Nasim sir.
Yes, please, I am hearing you.
Yeah, I can hear you and you can hear me. But what is happening with this?
Possibly ask them to unmute so that they can take the floor.
Yeah, Naushin, would you please unmute yourself and try to talk? Let's see what is the problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear
Yes.
you. Okay, read the vocabulary.
Finally.
Yeah, just read the vocabularies and the definition and sample answers that you can see in the screen.
Yes, ma'am. In the screen, I can see the definition. When you don't understand something, the interviewer says.
The one I have highlighted. This is the vocabulary,
Yes.
and this is the definition of the word. Okay. Go
Here
ahead.
the vocabulary is clarification, and the definition goes to: when you don't understand something, the interviewer says, you ask for clarification to make the question clearer. Sample sentence: it is a good idea to ask for clarification or repetition if you don't understand the question. And the another vocabulary is an interviewee. Ma'am, I can't see the definition. Okay, here we go. Definition: in an interview, the interviewee is the person answering the questions. Sample sentence: good interviewees have some strategies that allow them to better understand what the interviewer is saying.
Very good. The next one.
And the another vocabulary is an interviewer. The definition is, in an interview, the interviewer is the one asking the questions. Sample sentence: job seekers should prepare a list of questions that they want to ask the interviewer about the company or about the job itself. And the another vocabulary is repetition. Repetition happens when you ask the interviewer to repeat or say again something you didn't understand. Sample sentence: if you don't understand the question, asking for repetition is a good strategy.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Naushin.
Thank you so much for giving me the floor.
Okay, let's go to the next page. This is lesson 1, overview of the job interview. Here, if you watch this video, it will be clear to you how to about the things of job interview. If you want to download it and see it later, you can download it from here. You can also download the transcript of the video here. Okay, and the the transcript is also written here for your online reading. You can read it from here as well, and see they have marked the important things for you, so that you can understand the things very well. You don't have any complication in understand the things. So this is basically about how to prepare for a job interview. There are some examples of possible questions to ask, like number 1, what are the daily responsibilities of this job? Number 2, what computer equipment or software does the company use? Okay, so how do you know the answers of these questions? You know, one of the most important tips for preparing for an interview is you have to inquiry about the job responsibilities of the job that you are applying for. You should have some ideas about the post you are applying for, so that you can answer these sort of questions. What are the daily responsibilities of this job, and what are the equipments, what are the duties this job, these post carries? So that you can answer these sort of questions in the interview. Making a positive first impression is a must in an interview session. How can you do this? Okay, the job seekers should make a positive impression by looking professional. Where are you going for giving an interview? You have to know that place. You have to know the demand of that place, and you have to prepare yourself in that way. You have to groom up well. You have to be presentable. You have to be clean and neat. Okay, and you have to go there in advance, so that you don't go there in a hurry and create a haphazard situation. The other tips, other do's and don'ts will be shared by Ismat Appa in the last sections. Okay, here is the summary of it, and go to the next page. Okay, here is the optional reading practice of interview tips. It is called interview tips. I have already attempted the quiz here. I read the text and then I attempt the quiz. And as this is an optional one, I cannot do it again. It's already done. We can talk about the questions here. This is all about interview tips. If you have not go through the whole text, you can just go through these tips which are written before the quiz questions. You can answer all the questions. You will get everything here in a well-written manner. See these interview tips here. Job interviews are your chance to sell your skills and abilities. Job interviews also give you a chance to find out if the job and the company are right for you. Follow the 3 tips here to be successful in your interviews. First of all, what you have to do, you have to review common interview questions. What are the common interview questions like? Okay, they can ask you about your strengths, your flexibility, your leadership skills. There can be question about your ability and interest to learn new things. And in addition to this, the organization in which you have worked or volunteered, they can ask you a question about that. They can ask you questions to see if you have creativity in solving problems and working with people. Before the interview, which I have already told you, you have to know well how to qualify for the job. What are the requirements of the job? Okay, and you have to prepare you according to those requirements. You have to you can make a list of questions, the questions which can appear in the interview, and be prepared for answering those questions. Here are some questions, sample questions. What are the day-to-day responsibilities of that particular job? How will my responsibilities and performance be measured, or by whom it will be measured? How can you explain your company structure? What computer equipments and software do you use? What is the organization's plan for the next 5 years? If you prepare the answers for these questions, and if you can answer these questions, and the company sees this person has interest in our company, and he or she has already researched a lot about these things, they will find your interest in the job, and it is a positive thing for you. They will take it as a positive note. Then you have to be prepared. You have to remember to bring some important items to the interview. Some of the important items for the interview are notebook and pens to take notes. In some of the interview cases, they provide you, the interviewer provide you with the notebook and pens or pencils, but it's always better, always a good idea to carry your own notebook and your own pencil or pen. Then you should have extra copies of your resume and a list of references. You should have the copies of letters of recommendation, license or transcript, etc. And you should also have a portfolio of work samples if you have one. On the day of the interview, what are the things you need to remember? You need to plan your schedule so you arrive 10 to 15 minutes early. Go alone. You have to look professional, dress in a manner appropriate to the job. Leave your MP3 player, coffee, soda, or backpack at home or in your car. You should not carry anything with you that distracts you. You have to turn your cell phone off before entering to the interview room. And you have to bring your sense of humor and smile. Whenever you are facing an interview, what happens with us, our heart beats so loudly that we cannot even hear our own voice because of the heartbeat. It beats so hard. So what is the tips for overcoming this? You have to be there at least before 10 to 15 minutes of the interview. Drink some water, cool yourself, and enter the interview room with a smile. Whatever you are saying, whatever you are doing, do it with a smile. You should always carry a smile, because a smile expresses your positive note to the interviewer, and it shows your confidence. Okay, and who doesn't like a confident candidate? Everyone does, right? Okay. See, here they're talking about displaying confidence. How can you display confidence in an interview? You have to shake hands firmly, but only if a hand is offered to you first. If the interviewer do not offer you their hand, don't offer your hand. Okay. You have to maintain eye contact. You have to listen carefully and welcome questions, even the difficult ones, with a smile. You have to give honest and direct answers. You have to develop answer in your head before you respond. If you don't understand the question, ask for it to be prepared or clarified. You don't have to rush, but you don't want to appear indecisive. Okay. End the interview with a good impression. This one is a must. You cannot avoid it. You have to end the interview with a good impression. How can you do this? Be Be courteous and allow the interview to end on time. Restate and strengths, any strengths and experiences that you might not have emphasized earlier. Mention a particular accomplishment or activity that fits the job. If you want the job, say so. Find out if there will be additional interviews. Ask when the employer plans to make a decision. Ask for a business card or contact information of the interviewers. Don't forget to send a thank you note or letter after the interview. Okay, now comes the questions. Here, as we cannot take, I cannot take this quiz again. You can see the answers I have answered here. Question number 1: how can job seekers prepare to answer interview questions? The answer is prepare examples or stories that show their skills or qualifications. Job seekers should not ask questions about the company in an interview. Is it true or false? This one is false. This is how you go through all the questions, and then you go to the next lesson, that is lesson 2. It is about answering typical interview questions. I will recommend you to watch this video carefully. It carries all the tips to answer typical interview questions. You can also download the video or download the transcript from this page. Here we will get the examples of direct interview questions and indirect interview questions. The direct questions include questions about who, what, where, when, why. And the indirect questions can be about tell me about something, or I wonder if you could tell me, I would like to know about this and that. These can be the indirect questions. Okay. Then preparing your own questions. Finally, in a typical interview in the US, what happens in Bangladesh, we are also starting the practice, but previously it was not a practice in Bangladesh. But now the not only the interviewer asks the questions, the interviewee can also ask some questions. So before going to the interview, you have to make a list of the questions that you want to ask to the company, ask to the interviewer. You can make a list of 2 or 3 or 5 or 4 questions, and according to the interview, you can ask those questions to your interviewer. That will create a good impression to the interviewer actually. And to make good impression, you can also do one thing, that at least 2 questions, you can ask at least 2 questions to the interviewer. So for example, you might ask, what opportunities are there for professional development in this company? Or what is the next step in the interview process? So now we have discussed some common questions in the job interview. Next, we're going to look at some ways you can ask for clarification in an interview when you don't understand the questions. Okay. Let's see what is there in the next page. Here you will see a video on asking for clarification in an interview. How can you ask clarification questions? See, there are examples of clarification questions. I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. Could you repeat that, please? I'm not quite sure I understood you correctly. Did you mean this and that? It is always better to ask clarification questions, to ask for clarification of a question than answering questions without understanding it. If you don't understand, it's always okay to stop your interviewer and ask him, that I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. Could you repeat that, please? Okay, or you can also paraphrase the question and ask your interviewer, did you ask that? Did you mean that? Then you can also say, if I understand you correctly, you are asking this and that. See the okay, let's go to the next page. The main thing is, if you don't understand the question your interviewer asks you, and you answer it, you misunderstood it and you answered a wrong answer, that is a negative point. But if you ask for clarification and if you paraphrase the question, or if you ask for repetition of the question and then you understand the question and then you answer it, that is a good one. That is a positive point for you. Okay. Now we have the quiz here, the first for the first mandatory quiz. You have to score at least 70% to pass the quiz. Okay, let me resume the quiz. Okay, let us do it together. A job seeker says, I graduated from the University of Pennsylvania. The question was, you can answer in the chat box. What can be the question when the answer is, I graduated from the University of Pennsylvania? Please write your answer in the chat box, then I will write it here. I will answer it here on behalf of you. Okay, everyone is saying, where did you study? Exactly. Let us see. Let us answer it and then see. Question number 2. A job seeker says, I worked at XYZ for 20 years. What is the question? What was your salary in the XYZ company? When did you graduate from college? How many years did you work for XYZ company? Okay, all of you are answering 3. Let me check. Okay, I have answered it. Question number 3. A job seeker says, I answered telephones and scheduled appointments. What the question was, what are your hobbies? When did you begin working at ABC company? Or what were your job duties and responsibilities? Farhana Khan says the question, answer number 3. Fabiha Tania, the third one. Kashfa Sarwar, the third one. Mihdi Hassan, C. Jasmine Ara Kushum, C. Okay, again C. Okay, let us answer it. Question number 4. A job seeker says, I can start next week. So the question was, where do you live? When did you move to the city? When can you begin working? This one is also, everyone is saying, everyone says the answer is number C. Let us see. Question number 5, the 5th and the last question. A job seeker says, my manager at ABC company was Robert Evans. So what is the question? Why did you leave your last job? Who was your manager or supervisor? How did you learn about the job? Kanis Fatima, B. Tahmina Hussain says B. Okay, let us check. As we have answered all the questions, let us submit the quiz together. Okay, I have submitted it. Okay, and the score is 10 out of 10. So we have answered all the questions correctly. Now let's move towards the next page. Thank you everyone for participating in the quiz with enthusiasm. You have actively participated in the quiz. Let us do the next one. This is a optional listening or reading practice thing. 5 illegal questions in the US. Okay. In the context of US, there are 5. There are some things that are illegal in the US to ask in the ask in an interview or talk about in an interview. Let us deal with it. Here is the transcript of the video. Okay, and let us just go with the headings. Okay, all of these areas of questioning are considered illegal in the United States. The first one is sex questions are off limits. You cannot talk about the sex things like gender or other things. Then question number 2, and the second one is questions about marriage and children are illegal. If you are married or not, this has nothing to do with your job. Okay, so in US they consider talking about marriage and children in an interview as an illegal thing. The third thing is your citizenship and nationality are private. You cannot talk about anyone's citizenship or nationality in an interview, but you can ask, can you work legally in the United States? That's it. You don't have to ask for, are you a citizen of US? What is your nationality? You don't need to ask that, okay? Asking about religion is a no. Your religion has nothing to do with the job you're going to do. So they don't talk about religion and they consider it as a illegal thing to talk about in an interview. Your age is your business. They have nothing to do with it. Your age is already written in the resume, in the CV you have submitted, okay? So you don't need to talk about it in the interview session. Okay. Let us take the quiz again. I have attempted before. Now do it together. In the following questions, is the following question okay or not okay to ask in an interview in the United States? I would ask you to again participate in the quiz. Okay. So, are you married? Is it okay or not okay to ask? Okay, everyone is giving quick answer. Not okay. Very good. Very good. Question number 2. Can you work legally in the United States? Okay or not okay? Okay, some most of you are saying not okay. Let us see what happens. Is English your first language? Okay or not okay? Okay, most of you are saying okay. So let us click okay. Do you pray every day? Okay. What hours can you work? Okay or not okay? Okay. I have answered the questions according to your answer. Now let us submit the quiz and see if you have answered correctly or not. Okay. See, we have made some mistakes, like can you work legally in the United States? They say it is okay to ask. Then question number 3, is English your first language? It's not okay to ask, is English your first language? The other questions are correct according to your answers. Okay. Let us go to the next session. Ismatapa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So Ismatara Chaudhary madam will now discuss lesson 4 and lesson 5, and when she finishes her part, I will demonstrate you how you can download your badge and your certificate for the course once you are done with all the required elements. Okay, over to you, Ismatapa.
Okay, thank you, Sadiapa. Thanks for doing this job excellently. Now I'm going to talk about the last two lessons of module number 5. But before going to that, I will just introduce myself shortly. This is Ismatara Chaudhary. I am currently working as a lecturer in English at Russia University School and College. I have taken my BA and honors degree, honors and master's degree from Russia University English department, and I am an US Department of State alumna. And now I am here with you to talk about last two lessons of module number 5. So before talking about that modules, I will share a screen for you. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Apa, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. So module 5 actually is titled after interviewing for a job. So as you have already done that, you have prepared your resume, you have already prepared your questions for interview. Now it's time to face a real interview. In this module number 5, you have got 5 lessons as you have completed 3 already by Sadia Appa. In lesson number 1, you got overview of the job interview. In lesson number 2, you have got the answering typical interview questions. You have seen language focus, asking for clarification in an interview. And now I will talk about some do's and don'ts in an interview. You will get 2 sample interviews in lesson number 4 and 5. We'll get one in lesson number 4 and other one in lesson number 5. These 2 lessons will talk about the things you should do in an interview and you should not do in an interview. So these are pretty short, I see, and I'll not take much time to talk about these things. So see, the summary of lesson number 4 and 5. In this part, we'll look at some of the do's and don'ts of an interview. I've already said that. And we will compare what's appropriate and what's not appropriate in a job interview by seeing 2 different sample interviews, which you'll see in module number 4 and 5 in videos, in video form. If you go through the lessons online in the module number 5, you'll find these 2 videos in that module. I will suggest you to watch those videos, real life interviews actually, and you'll find out what I will talk now. Okay, so before going to an interview, you must remember some things which you must follow, which we are talking about do's and don'ts. So at first, you must, that means job seekers should make a positive impression by looking professional. So as we see that sometimes the first impression is the last one. So you have to be professionally dressed so that you look professional in an interview, and this will give a positive impression to the interviewee. How can you do it? How can you show your professionalism in an interview? You can do this by wearing professional clothes such as business suit or dress. I have taken the suggestions from the modules, from the lessons you are going to complete. So you will find this actually points in the lessons too. And to make a positive impression in an interview, you should be on time or early to the interview. As Sadia Appa has already discussed it, that you must be present in the interview on time or early. And during the interview, keep eye contact with the interviewer. Give clear and honest answers and bring extra copies of important documents like resumes and certifications. So you must have a positive first impression while you are in an interview or you are facing an interview, and you can do that by following these tips. So now we'll talk about the first impression, part 1. It is do's and don'ts, part 1. Here I have given an example, which I will say that example number 1. You will find the video of it in your lesson number 4. You see that we got 2 persons here. One is the interviewer and other one is interviewee. So the interviewee makes a sound in your video, you'll see that he is knocking on the door. And the interviewee says, come in. But the interviewer makes sound again, and Mrs. Hernandez says, come in. The interview is Michael. He asks, am I in the right place for the job interview? The interviewer says, are you Michael Flatley? He replies, the last time I checked, I was. Sorry? I'm sorry, I'm Michael Flatley. I am really sorry I am late. The train took forever getting here. Public transportation in the city, I hate it. May I sit? Michael says, sure. So you can see that the way the person talked about his opinion in the interview was quite unprofessional. And when you will see the video, you'll see that he was quite unprofessional in his dress up, and he was quite late.
Ma'am, I can hear your voice.
Ismatapa, you have to unmute yourself.
You have to
Okay.
unmute yourself. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I was saying that this example will be seen in the lesson number 4 when you'll go through the lesson. So after seeing that interview or watching the video, I will have some remarks that the candidate was late, he came dressed unprofessionally, and his manner was too informal and casual for a professional situation like an interview. So from these remarks, we can understand that what we should do in an interview and what we shouldn't. So you must be on time, you should not be late. You should be dressed professionally and not unprofessionally. And you should talk to the interviewer professionally, formally, and casually. And you should not actually be too informal in your manner. So these are the suggestions actually. Now, we have seen that the first interviewee is not having a good impression on the interviewer. In the second example, we'll see what you should do in an interview and how should you talk in an interview. You will get, again, I am saying that you will get the video of this interview in lesson number 4, and I'm just telling, reading the lines out. Again, the interviewer says, come in. The same person comes and says, hi. Yes, are you Michael Flatley? That's right. I hope I am not too early. Not at all. It's very nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. The interviewer asks, did you have any trouble finding out the building? Michael says, no, not at all. Thank you. The interviewer says, please have a seat and we'll get started. Michael says, yes, great. So you can see the way the person talked was quite good, and it placed a good impression on the interviewer. So we will summarize this interview in this manner. It was much better than the previous one. The person was not late. He didn't put on some unprofessional dress, and he didn't show any informal manner. And it was good. And we can say that after watching the video, you can see, you can always understand that this candidate has made a good first impression. So from this point, we can say actually that making a first impression, a good first impression, is very important for an interview. You should, and to make a positive first impression, you must dress professionally, you must talk professionally in a formal way actually, and you should not be late for the interview. So these are the things and suggestions for you while you will face a real interview in your life. Now, in lesson number 5, we'll see the part 2 of do's and don'ts. As I have already said, that these 2 lessons will cover do's and don'ts of an interview. And in part 2, again, we'll continue with do's and don'ts. You see, now we'll compare and correct. We'll see what is appropriate and correct with what is not appropriate or correct in an interview. Again, this actually is all about things you should do in an interview and you should not. We'll again get 2 sample interviews and with the same person that you have already watched, and you'll see how the person answers the questions. So the first part was all about your first impression. Now it is the part 2 where you have to answer the questions in the interview. We should remember the things before watching the video, that does he answer the questions well? In this part, you'll see that the interviewer asks some questions to the interviewee and you must prepare your answers before you go to the interview. When he doesn't understand a question, does he use the clarification questions well? So it is a real life interview. You will face it in your life too. So before going to the interview, you must prepare yourself with these type of things, that you have to answer the questions well. You have to, if you don't understand a question, then you must use the clarification questions clearly. And does the interview have good questions of its own prepared? And as you have already learned from Sadiapa, that you must prepare your own questions too for an interview. The interviewer will ask you questions, but after the interview, you may be asked to ask your questions too. So you must prepare your questions as well before going to an interview. As you can see, this writings may not be very clear to you, but you can watch the video while going through the lessons. In this interview, in the sample interview number 1, I am just summarizing for this for you, that the same person is again in the second part of the interview, where he was the interviewer asked some questions to him. The first question was, Michael, you just told me about your biggest strength. What would you say is your biggest weakness? In this interview number 1, part 1, you'll see that the person answers, good question. To be honest, I don't really have any weakness. So it was quite a straightforward answer, and not talking about your weakness or saying that you don't have any weakness is not a good one. Then he was again asked, could you tell me why you want to work for this company? The answer was a kind of disaster, I say, that, well, I hadn't really heard of this company until I heard it from a friend of mine who has his ex-girlfriend and this and that, he says. So he didn't hear about this company before coming to this interview, and he learned about this company from a friend. So it was not an appropriate answer at all. Then the interviewer says, okay, well, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Michael didn't answer the question. He says, what's that? The interviewer again clarifies his question, says, in the future, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Michael replies, laughs and says, probably in your job. So it is not appropriate at all. As you can see that it is already discussed that you may smile, have a smile on your face, but you should not laugh loudly in an interview. And when you will watch the video, you will find it very entertaining after watching the video about this interview. Then the interviewer asks him question that, do you have any question to us? Michael says, yes. Yeah, how much vacation time will I get? So it is not a professional question at all. And as we have already discussed that you must prepare your own question for your interview. And this person is not ready at all. So after watching the video, we can put remarks in this way that he didn't answer the questions well. He used clarifying questions incorrectly, and he didn't have any good questions prepared for the interviewer. So from these remarks, you can understand what you should do in an interview, that you must understand the questions and answer it well. You must use your clarifying questions incorrectly, and you must prepare your own questions for the interviewer. And this is a must-do thing you should for an interview. And with the same person, we'll have another video lesson you will watch while going through the lessons. In this video, I'm not going to read all these things. I'll just say that the person, when you watch the video, you'll see that the interview was quite confident. He put the questions well, he answered the questions well, and when he was asked to whether he has a question for the interviewer or not, he says yes, and I'll read that part only. All right then. And in this part, all right then, the interviewer asks, I have asked you a few questions. Do you have any questions for me? Michael answers, yeah, sure, do. Are there any opportunities for professional development in this position? So the question and the way the interviewee asked the question was quite impressive one, that he has prepared his own question very well, and he was asking about the professional development, in whether there is a possibility of professional development in this position or not. But in the previous video, we have seen that the interviewer said, oh, how much vacation time will I get? So you can see clearly the difference between these two questions. So the second part, in interview number 2, you'll find that the interview was pretty impressive, did have pretty impressive responses. He was well prepared and answered the questions confidently. And we can hope that this candidate gets offered the job, or at least gets called for a second interview. So I will suggest you to watch those videos, all 4 videos attentively, and you'll find these remarks, the use of these remarks clearly. So as you will complete these lessons by yourself, so I'll ask you again to watch those videos clearly before you answer the quizzes. So this is all about the do's and don'ts from my part, and just I will summarize or give some suggestions after, as you are going to complete this course with my part. So these are the suggestions for you before I close my session. Please remember the importance of preparing an up-to-date professional looking resume and cover letter. You have got the instructions from our mentors from in the very first class, I should say, in the very first week, that you are how to write a resume and cover letter. It is covered already. So you must, before going to an interview, you must have a professional, up-to-date resume and cover letter. I'm saying this, I'm talking about the suggestions because we are now, after this lessons, you will go to face your real life interview. So before going to facing an interview in your real life, you must have an up-to-date resume. You must make a first good impression with an employer, which is very vital, as I say. And in addition to that, prepare for the job interview by researching the company and being ready to answer typical interview questions. So it was our part in the module number 5, that you must prepare for the job interview by researching the company. You should not say that I have heard about this company from my friend or something like that. You must research by your own about the company, about the opportunities they are offering, about the position you are going to take. So in this way, you must be ready with your own research and own ideas about the company. So with these suggestions, and I would like to end my part. Thank you all. I hope these do's and don'ts for an interview will help you much in your future interviews. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ismatapa, for your wonderful findings and wonderful discussion. Okay, the participants, you can see the attendance list is already there in the chat room. You can give your attendance from the list. And now I will quickly share how you can download the badge and the certificate after completing your course. Okay, when you are done with all the required elements of the course, you will be here in this page. Congratulations on completing the MOOC. Okay, when you are here in this page, from here you have to click here. Can you see my screen? If you can see,
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
see that there's a page called badges. Go there. Just go to this page. Okay, this is the course badge. Here is your progress through the badge available for this course. Click each badge to learn more or save and share badges you have earned. You have to click here, view detail. Okay, then you have to click here, download. When you click here, it will bring you in another page. Okay, this is see your badge has already been downloaded. When you click the link download here, when you will come in this page, you have to make sure you are logged in. Okay, see, I'm already logged in here in this page badger. I'm already logged in here. You have to, if you are not logged in, you have to log in the page. You have to sign in, and then you have to log in the page. Okay, for signing in, you have to use the same same email ID that you have used for entering into the campus network. Okay, do you understand this?
Ma'am.
Okay, using the same email ID, you have to log in here, and you have to sign in, and then you have to log in here. Okay, and then you can see the view in backpack section on the top right corner of the page. Click here. When you click it, you will see this page where we are now. In the top right corner of this page, you will see a share button. By clicking share button, you can share this badge in various platforms, in social medias and other platforms. And if you click this button, you will see the download button here, and here you can also click print certificate, and you can print your certificate from here. you have already downloaded the badge when you click the download button under the badge. You have already downloaded that. Now, if you want to download and print your certificate, you have to click here in this button. Okay. When we click it, it is taking us to a different page. Okay. So this is the certificate. This is my certificate as I have logged in from my account. Okay. In the left side, you can see there are different designs. This is the first one, and you can click on the different design certificate. Here are templates given there, and there are options you can choose for. Okay, you can choose any one. See, if you click here, any of the template, it changes your design and the content of the certificates. It's up to you how you want it to look. So you just have to choose any of the templates from here, and then you have to just print it. Okay.
Ma'am, I have one question, ma'am. Can I?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I was sick suddenly because I didn't attend the 3 classes. So now what can I do with it?
Okay, for getting a MOOC camp certificate, it is a must to attend at least 4 of the sessions. You have to attend at least 4 of the sessions. You can also write your questions in the Telegram group so that you can get the correct answer to your question. But as far as I know, you have to attend at least 4 of the sessions for getting a certificate. Okay, you will get the course certificate, but for getting a certificate from American Center, you will have to attend at least 4 of the MOOC camps. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Now continue how many classes do you have?
We don't have any other classes. I mean, any other sessions. MOOC camps
Today
are
last
it
session.
is the last one. Yeah, this is the last one. This is the last MOOC camp session.
Ma'am, the previous session, how will cover that?
You will get all the videos
Yes,
uploaded in our YouTube channel. You can see
yes.
the videos from there.
Ma'am, can you given the link, and I seen the videos, 3 videos.
The links are already given there in the Telegram group.
Right.
Okay. Just go through the group. You will see the link of our YouTube channel given there. Go to the channel and subscribe it. So you will get a notification for all the videos whenever we upload any new video. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
I hope this answered your questions. And the participants who are asking from the web address, there is no separate address for the page you can see in my screen now. You will get it from the campus network page, and the process is I have already demonstrated. If you have missed any part, you can check our YouTube channel for it. Do you have any other questions? Any other queries?
Ma'am, will we get only 1 certificate or will we get 2 certificates?
Okay. Muhib bhai, are you there? Okay. For completing the course, after completing your course, you will get a certificate just the way I have downloaded and showed you how to download and print your certificate. And if you have attended 4 of the MOOC camp sessions, you will get another certificate from American Center.
Yes, ma'am. So from American Center, I have already get 1 as I'm completing the session. But for like doing full classes, how could I get another certificate?
You have to print it just the way I have showed you. This is the way.
So it is showing only 1 certificate. So how could I get 2?
The second one you will get via email. You will get it via email if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
You can ask this question to our Telegram group, and you'll get the answer from Muhib sir.
Thank you. This is the end of our MOOC camp, but this is not the end of the total journey. You
Right.
the Telegram group is already there. You can ask. It will be there. You can ask any of your queries in the Telegram group, and all the mentors and Muhib sir, all of us will be answering your questions in the Telegram group.
Right.
Muhib sir, are you there?
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you.
Can I add something?
Yes, please, sir.
Of course.
Yeah, yes. So we will organize a graduation ceremony with the presence of US Embassy officials. And after that graduation ceremony, we will issue the second certificate jointly issued by US Embassy Dhaka and Global Aid for Sustainable Development. But before
So
that,
will we get this link via Telegram or WhatsApp?
We will share when the graduation ceremony will be held. We will share in Telegram group and also we'll share in Facebook group. Okay, our MOOC support group, Facebook MOOC support group over there, and Telegram group we will share when the graduation ceremony will be held. Okay, and we will check between how many of the participants attended a minimum of 4 sessions out of 5 sessions. And those who attended a minimum of 4 sessions out of 5 sessions, we will select those names and we will prepare certificate for them. We will share the link of the certificates to those teachers after the graduation ceremony. Is it okay, sir? Have you got the point?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
And for the graduation ceremony, maybe you will have to wait for 2 to 3 weeks because it is not so easy to get the appropriate time from the US Embassy officials after we have appointment with them, and we will finally go for the graduation ceremony. Okay.
Sir, can you tell me the deadlines of the modules?
So we several times shared this. The deadline to complete the modules is 27 September. You can complete all the modules by 27 September. That Sadia has showed. You can download your badge. You can download your certificate after you complete all the modules. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any more question?
Hello. Hello.
Any more
Do you hear
question?
me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hello, Sadia ma'am. How are you? This
Hello,
is
Mahmoud.
Atikullah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. My question is that I want to ask a question. I've joined for almost for Zoom link, but I did not attend the maybe attendance sheet. I don't know how to attend the attendance sheet. Is there any possibility how to recover it? Because as per I know that I got only 2 link of Google Sheet to give my attendance, but how is it possible? Because without giving attendance, may I get the certificate of attending this Zoom session?
Okay, you can contact Sadia ma'am after the session. She will sort out whether you attended 4 sessions, then she will share. If it is okay that you attended, but for some reasons you could not give the attendance, then she will share with you the link of, the attendance link. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So as there are no other issues, I think we can conclude the session now, right?
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, the mentors. Thank you, the participants. All the best for you. Bye. Take care.
Thank you too.
Thank you, Muhtar.
Thank you.